Hello, everybody. I am once again busy with a project that I can't exactly reveal right now, and I don't know when I am gonna reveal that, but it's gonna be out real soon. I don't know if I'm gonna share it with YouTube in particular. It felt like a waste to not post at all this week, especially considering that I have a new dress that honestly looks fantastic. I have another one that's also a new dress. It looks a lot less good. And like you can see, I also have a cat friend over here that doesn't like the fact that we have light. Don't you, baby? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Light is problematic for the cat that's trying to sleep right now. Um, there it is. And as such, I wanted to just, make a video. And a lot of people do videos like, oh, what's in my purse? I thought it would kind of be on topic for what I'm currently doing. And it would be kind of fun to instead talk what is on my altar. Because as you know, I do have a queer spirituality, and therefore I do have an altar, which is next to me, but I'm not gonna show it because that would be a bit too open. But I can lift items one by one and kind of talk about them. I'm not gonna be lifting some of them, but I'm gonna be lifting most of them. There we go. So the first item that's on my altar is a candle cage. It used to be just a candle, but very fire unsafe, and also my ceiling kind of got covered in soot over time, so now I have a candle cage, and it would be more aesthetically pleasing if I was holding it by its top, but as you can see, it has a lit candle in it, which means the top be hot, so I'm not gonna be touching it. If any of you, be it pagan or witch or any other queer spirituality people out there, if any of you have, you know, candles, I absolutely recommend getting, at the very least, a lantern. This fire at the moment is quite unmanageable as well. It shouldn't be up this high. I'm gonna be snuffing it out and cutting it down after I make the video in order to make it a bit lower, because very high flames also spit out a lot of soot, and once again, I've been dealing with problems with that. Second item that's on my altar is my sacrificial cup. There is absolutely no reason why it's in the shape of a cup. Rather, there is a reason why it is a cup. It's a fairly convenient dish to burn things in, especially considering that this one's made out of metal. There's no particular reason why it is a skull. The god slash demon that I worship is not in any way related to skulls. I enjoy skulls, and it is okay to, decorate your private spiritual space in the way that is enjoyable for you, because primarily this is, of course, a space for you and your spirituality. So it should kind of mostly relate to the spirit that, you are feeling connected to, so that you can look at your altar and see signs of them and make that connection a lot easier. But it's also a space for you. Which leads me to my next item. Once again, this absolutely has no reason of being there. I just really like skulls. So when I purchased this one, I thought, yeah, it's gonna go on my altar. Where else? I suppose I could keep it on a shelf, but when you get a nice thing, you just kind of want to share it with your spirit. So this is the equivalent of a cat going, "Hey, I caught you a mouse," and you're like, "Wow, that's very useless for me, but thanks, nice effort, I guess." Well, this is my equivalent of going, "Hey, I bought this skull, isn't it cool?" And obviously not related to the spirit that I worship. Not really, convenient for them or for me, but it's pretty, and I like pretty things. And this is a space for me, as much as it is a space for the spiritual. Therefore, the skull stays. Okay, now we're gonna get a lot more related. The fourth items that I have on my altar are things that are handmade in the colors of the spirit and the, how to say this, symbolism of the spirit that I worship, that I specifically associate with the spirit. This won't necessarily apply to other people. The tree covered in what's supposed to be more silver than it is white, but it kind of looks white, directly is involved in a connective ritual, while this little fella kind of comes in spirit's colors and is a bit reminiscent of a more naturey spirit. I suppose it also connects the theme of skulls to the rest of my altar. This is once again personal symbolism for the spirit that I worship. It is supposed to have 2 fingers. It makes a lot more sense when it has 2 fingers, but I have cats, and cat-related things happen. Therefore, at the moment, we have a sculpture that just kind of points and an extra finger. There is no great symbolism to the finger has come off, but one day it's gonna be back on the statue. And hopefully my little cute sleeping giants that mess with all of the equipment that I have, but I still love them, won't knock off a finger again. Not a guarantee, we're really hoping for it. I also have this little pretty piece of paper, well used, as you can see, with a whole bunch of like wax dribbles on it. I don't actually want to replace it because I think that well-used things kind of, prove that the space is well-used and well-loved. Therefore, there's this piece of paper with a specific sign of the spirit that I worship. It is one of, once again, very connective elements that represent them in my spiritual space, aka my altar. So it's pretty integral to the whole setup. Some people, I suppose, would prefer to keep it very nice and tidy because it's more respectful. Well, for me, if it's more natural and slightly splashed and slightly untidy, it just feels very lived in. I am now gonna carefully show part of what I have on my altar, which is rocks in kind of the color-coded ways of the spirit that I worship. So it is a colorful reminder. It's also, I have quite a lot of quartz, so it kind of keeps the energy that I want on my altar. I am not showing the full setup because the rest of it is in a offering bowl, and the offering bowl is currently in use partly for a working that I'm doing, and it's not something that I can show on camera the same way as I can't show my full altar setup. That kind of feels like taking you in a bedroom and undressing. It's a tiny, teeny bit inappropriate. But this is what's at the top of my offering bowl at the moment, which is being used for spell. And it kind of secures the energy of the altar itself in itself, and it's in the colors that are more reminiscent of the spirit that I follow. Therefore, it serves as another symbolic reminder of them that helps me to concentrate on them when I am doing my spiritual stuff. I will show you the offering bowl that's currently not in use because it is mostly filled with things that I like, which at the moment is acorns. Spring has started. I will want to throw away a whole bunch of old nature decorations that I have around my house and bring in the new ones, but it hasn't happened yet, so I have a whole bunch of acorns in here. This is a lovely little bronze bowl. Once again, it's the kind of, it's similar to the principle of being that cat that brings its owner a mouse going, look at what I brought you. And you're like, cool, I have no use for this. It is a want to appreciate your spirits by going, look at all the shiny rock and acorns and other nice things that I found on my walks. Here, have at it. So this is what this bowl is used for, which means that overall I have about 3 bowls that all serve very similar purposes, but different ones at the same time, considering that one of them is currently involved in a spell. This one is literally look at all the shiny stuff, and my cup is where I tend to burn shit. I should probably watch out for soot with that as well. Seriously, I have done some damage to the ceiling. I will probably need to paint it over. But that is what's on my altar. If I was to talk to you what I think an altar should have, I would say that you want an altar that has some sort of item that signifies the spirit that you're trying to connect with, has some sort of cloth, or once again, some sort of item that carries the associated color of the spirit, and then has items that you involve in your craft, which for a lot of people will be like respectfully lighting a candle. Once again, a sigil is a good thing, that little squiggle that I showed you that has been drawn, because it's another connective point to the spirit. But that's like what you need for an altar. Everything else is an extra, and mine is very well used and very well lived in, considering that I've been in the craft for like 5 years now. So this thing has been with me for a while, and me being the squirrel that connects everything, I assembled my items over a large period of time. Therefore, it is a tiny table with a lot of things on it. And I don't ever want to move them because they're there. Some of them serve a purpose, and some of them are very pretty. Because your altar should make you happy, not only your spirits happy. So that is what's on my altar. I can't wait to see you next week when I go back with broadcasting as usual. Expect a release from me. At the very least, the community notes will know about it on YouTube. Reddit will definitely know about it, and I will link you to like a master thread on Reddit about what I offer and what I don't. So if you're new and it has been years and you're like, what was she talking about in this video? You can like see all of the books that I have released and all of the services that I offer in general. It's all on that thread because I kind of use my Reddit more for witchcrafty stuff than I do YouTube. I use a lot more of put out a lot more gaming content on YouTube because that is one of my pastimes, and I am a multifaceted human being like everybody else, and that's actually one of the things that are kind of annoying when you get reduced to some sort of weird stereotype and you're like, excuse me, bro, you realize I am a person, right? Especially when people like, oh, you're a witch, are you like a real witch? And they just expect you to live inside witchcraft like 24/7 and do absolutely nothing else. Like if they just found you buying a newspaper in the store or going to work or playing a video game, they would be like, you're not a real witch. What are you doing in here? And it's like, witchcraft is a bit like spirituality. It is part of you. It's not your whole identity. Kind of like how Christianity or Buddhism or Islam, it's not all of who you are. You have a lot more facets to a person than that one thing. Hence why my content is as diverse as it is, including quite a lot of other things that I like, mostly gaming because I like gaming. I do other things on the side, and I do quite a lot of things that I never like disclose on YouTube with like friends and family. I am a person, but I have went off on a tangent here. So, I don't know what to say here. Rate my setup. Actually, maybe don't. Um, because I am not really planning on changing it. I don't need validation. I suppose if you feel so inclined and you have watched this video for so long, what is on your altar? Or if you don't have one, if you had one, what would you put it there? That is a fascinating and fun topic to discuss in the comments. Thank you for clicking in and watching this video, and I am gonna see you next week when I proceed with broadcast, and now I have work to do. So thank you for coming, and see you the next time. Toodaloo.